Can Britain reverse its decline? In this exclusive sit-down, Liz Truss joins Dave Rubin to discuss the bold ideas needed to shift Britain's future. In this video, we also explore the principles of free speech and citizen involvement in government decision-making, revealing what leadership needs to transform the nation. Before we get into the discussion, if you love diving into political issues and enjoy hearing a principled take on them, then hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to join the conversation. It will help our channel reach a wider audience.
We have a big issue in Britain, which is our traditional British liberties are under threat, in particular free speech.
Yeah.
And what we want to do is work with our allies across Europe, across the world, including the United States, to restore what made Britain great. And that's why I'm here, to talk about that, to promote that, to get support for that agenda.
So I want to talk specifically about free speech, but broadly, I've been to the UK a couple times in the last few years. People are alarmed. I mean, I would say almost more than any other Western European nation, at least the ones that I've been to, there is a real sense that your country is slipping away. What level do you think this is at this point?
It's at a very severe level. And I believe unless there's change in the next few years, it could become irreversible. We've got a major problem with mass immigration. We've got a major problem with deindustrialization, with stagnation, so people's incomes aren't going up. They're seeing their towns and villages change, their cities change. Things are getting worse. But we have a very powerful status quo, a very powerful establishment that doesn't want the radical change that our country needs. So it's a very serious situation we're in.
So let's deal with the borders and immigration first, because that seems to be top of mind. And here we're in Hungary, a place that closed their borders, and they're paying the price from a European Union perspective. I talked with Balázs Orbán on stage. They pay €1 million a day to the European Union just because they keep their borders closed. It's quite absurd, frankly, from an American. What do you do? I mean, not only do you have illegals in the country, but you also have a lot of legal people that seemingly don't want to adopt the British values that you're talking about.
So there are lots of different problems here, but what has happened is an orthodoxy has taken over British institutions in the same way as it's taken over European institutions. And that orthodoxy believes in mass migration, multiculturalism, toleration of Islamism, and we've seen appalling cover-ups of grooming gangs in Britain. Girls as young as 12 being systematically raped.
You've covered.
And no national inquiry. It's been covered up. So there is a group of people who have essentially taken over our institutions with a particular worldview, and they don't want to be challenged, which is why we're seeing free speech being suppressed, because they don't want people to know just how badly wrong it's going. And I think all of these problems are connected. So mass migration is putting pressure on housing costs, which means that Brits aren't able to start a family. They're not able to buy a home because it's too expensive. That's creating a population crisis, which then creates a demand for more migration. You've also got a left-wing ideology in terms of things like net zero, which is making British energy very expensive. So our energy costs in Britain are 4 times what they are in the United States. So all of these things are compounded, and people feel that things are getting worse, and they can't even say what is wrong. So they can't even complain about the grooming gangs or speak out about what happened in Southport, because they're literally fearful of getting arrested.
Right.
And that is what we've seen.
So what do you do at the cultural level first? So when you talk about the Islamization problem, I mean, I walk around London. It does not, from an American perspective, we think it's all Downton Abbey. It certainly doesn't feel like Downton Abbey if you walk around London anymore. It just feels different now. So what do you actually do?
Well, what you have to do is, first of all, you have to restore justice to our justice system. So at present, we have a 2-tier system, where if you tweet,
is getting worse.
If you tweet something, you could be put in jail. But if you're found abusing children, you might not be jailed. I mean, it's a ludicrous system. So what we need to do is restore accountability. And a similar thing has happened in Britain that happened in the United States, which the deep state, the unelected bureaucracy, accumulated a lot of power, particularly under Tony Blair. He gave more power to judges, more power to so-called independent bodies. Those bodies have now been captured by woke ideology, by extreme Islamicism, by the sort of multicultural human rights lobby that said, we don't really care if you're British or if you're Afghani, you've got the same rights in Britain. The British public don't agree with that. They believe that if you are British, those are the people the government should be prioritising. So all of that has to be changed. And the way to change it is to do what President Trump is doing in the United States. Win an election. Once you've won an election, you need to take on the institutions. So in the same way as President Trump is taking on Harvard, a new government needs to take on the culture in British universities, the culture in the British civil service, the culture in the BBC, because the policies that we've been talking about, those are not things the British public support, but at present, politicians can't change them because the power is held by the bureaucracy. So that's what's going to change.
Free speech is the backbone of any thriving democracy. When it's eroded, leaders can dodge accountability, making decisions behind closed doors without answering to the people. Imagine a Britain where citizens can't challenge policies that harm the nation. Without free speech, that's a risk we face. In a true democracy, your voice matters, and leaders must respect that. Strong leadership isn't about control, it's about courage. Great leaders welcome open dialogue and tough questions from citizens, knowing their role is to serve. Great leaders listen to the people and their representatives, ensuring the government's decision reflect the will of the people. Citizen engagement isn't just a right, it's the heartbeat of democracy. Let's stand firm on the principles that define strong leadership. Protect free speech, demand accountability, and push for citizens' involvement in government decision-making. Leaders are empowered to serve us, not to silence us. These principles are the foundation of thriving democracies. Stay engaged, speak up, and let us know in the comments how you're making your voice heard and holding your leaders accountable. If you have benefited in any way from this video, please subscribe, like, share, and be sure to leave us a comment.